Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live, powered and driven here by Go Chevrolet. We appreciate our partners all the time over at Go Chevrolet. Check them out online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. We have got a fast-moving first hour for you. We'll be joined by LSU football offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock coming up here at 7:30 this morning. But right now we are going to head up to Omaha, Nebraska as the College World Series heads into another day of semifinal action. And if you've been watching all of the games, there has been a heavy LSU presence behind the plate. And that is compliments of our next guest, Ed Sexton, who is a local attorney here in town. He has gone up to Omaha for the first time, and he got the best seats in the house. He's been sitting right behind home plate the entire time and glaring the LSU paraphernalia. It's been awesome to see him. Ed joins our show here now on the Jordy Culotta Show as he awaits to fly out of Omaha and get back to Baton Rouge this morning. Ed, good morning. Thank you for the time.
Hey, good morning to you. One correction. I'm not an attorney.
Oh, sorry about that. Man, I didn't mean to put you in that box.
That's awesome.
No, go ahead.
No, that was all. I had to get that straight first.
Yes, sir. Understandably. Ed, tell me about the experience. It's been so fun to watch you, and I know that's your brothers that you were sitting alongside. You guys have great seats. What has the experience been like?
Well, it's kind of been on a bucket list. My brother from North Carolina he coached 56 years in North Carolina and high school Legion ball, and then he coached 8 years at East Carolina University with Keith LeClaire when he was the coach. And so George he's in the Hall of Fame for coaches, and he's had these seats now for a number of years, and I've never come, and I put on my bucket list to go. No matter who's in it this year, George is now 85, but no matter who was in it, my youngest brother who lives in Nashville, I said, we got to go to the College World Series with George. And so we set that aside, and that's what we did this year. It's been a great experience. We've watched 12 ball games. From start to finish, we've watched all 12.
What a cool experience for you and your brothers. I'd imagine just the family experience alone on this has to be incredible.
And the great part was George shared so many stories with us. I mean, it was just unbelievable. He knows coaches all over the country. He coached with Link Jarrett at East Carolina, and that was a great experience. We sat right there on the first night of the Texas game and Notre Dame game. We were right there by the dugout. And when the game was over, Link, walked out, shook the Texas coach's hands, and walked straight over to George and shook his hand through the net. And that was a great day. And then Link went in the dugout, signed the last out, the ball for the last out. He signed it and gave it to George.
Oh, wow.
And it was very touching.
Wow.
But he knows all kind of coaches and a lot of connections. And when he's 85 years old, he just knows a lot of people.
And George has been sitting in those seats ever since he's been coming, right? I mean, those has been his usual seats.
For sure, 10 or 12 years. He told me he's been coming to the College World Series. He said 15 straight years, and he's had those seats. And I never really found out how he ended up getting the seats. He's a hustler, but he's got those seats. Everybody at the stadium knows him. I mean, when you walk in, they all hug his neck. All the ticket takers, and everybody knows him because he's been coming for so long. So it was just a great experience.
You mentioned this is your first time to Omaha. Obviously, LSU has been a team over the last 20 years that has made the trip countless amounts of times and formed a lot of relationships up in that part of the world. Have you gotten an idea of how special LSU is to Omaha, Nebraska?
I tell you, that was the biggest impression I got. I'm telling you that I couldn't tell you how many people came up to me and kept saying, man, we miss having y'all here. We hope y'all make it, and we miss having y'all here. I never heard any anything bad. I mean, everybody loves LSU. And I told them all we'll be back next year, so I put a little pressure on Coach.
Yeah, I saw that for LSU fans, but that is the expectation. As you know, Ed, you played at the you played third base for LSU in the early '70s. I believe you played against Archie Manning and Ole Miss when they came into town. How is this your first time going to Omaha? I know that you were a diehard Tigers fan. I grew up with your son Andrew and would see him around LSU sporting events all the time. Being a former baseball player, how did you miss out on Skip's so many trips to Omaha?
Well, I guess the timing wasn't right, or I just never had a big desire to go because I mean I knew it was a pretty good effort. I just never went. I'm sitting here watching them all, but just something kind of hit this year, and I said, hey, bucket list, we're going. With George, no matter who's playing.
Ed, congratulations on what looked like a tremendous week of watching college baseball. Thank you for sharing the stories with us this morning, and have a safe flight home.
Thank y'all very much. Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. There he is, Ed Sexton, checking in, coming back to Baton Rouge for his successful law firm. As I made him a lawyer there. My bad,
That
Eddie.
was awesome. Where did that come from? Why
I
did
don't
you think
know.
he was a lawyer?
I don't know.
And I almost even said, that name is familiar. I think I know that law firm. I'm so glad
I think he's represented me a couple of times.
Can we give a shout out to Tom Granning, by the way, while we're
please do.
here? Because I'm staring at Bree chowing down on some Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches, and those are courtesy. And Jamel, there you go. What are you eating? A breakfast sandwich as well?
We both got
Yeah?
breakfast sandwiches and muffins.
Okay. Shout out to Tom Granning for providing the snacks for us every month here. I mean, we are fully loaded. As you can see, their mouths are fully loaded too. So we appreciate that, Tom.
Wow.
And go Martin
so many
matches.
ways.
Pay the
could've
fine,
gone.
for God's sake.
I know. I
come
thought about
on.
that after I said it, as usual.
Yeah.
No,
but
it's
that's
too
okay.
late.
Lloyd's
Too
not
late.
here,
I don't think that
so-
counts.
No, I don't think so.
That doesn't count. There was
does
no
not,
cuss word in that at all.
That does not. That doesn't deem a fine. That just makes the mind dance. You got them. You got
It
them
does
thinking
make
out
the
there.
mind
You
dance.
got them
Hey,
thinking
I
out
like
there.
that.
Dancing the line.
I like that.
Theater of the mind over here.
Yeah.
All right, remember, daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, Geaux Chevrolet.com. As I said, we got a quick start to today's show, jumping in with Ed Sexton there. And then offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock is going to be coming through here at around 7:30, and really looking forward to talking to Coach Denbrock about a lot of the stuff that's happening around LSU football, because you think about some of the competition that's happening on this team. Obviously, you think of a lot of it happening on the offense, right? Offensive line, quarterback. Obviously, we'll ask him about the running backs. Noah Kane was in here yesterday talking about his expectation on his first season at LSU. So we'll dive into a lot of topics with Coach Denbrock coming up here at 7:30 this morning. If you have a question that you are curious about on LSU's offensive side of the ball, or anything concerning Coach Denbrock and LSU football, jump inside of our chat, and we'll make sure and ask the questions here. Don't forget, Matt House, LSU defensive coordinator, will be in the studio tomorrow morning at 7:30. So looking forward to talking to Coach Denbrock today about the offensive side of the ball. Coach House will be here on Friday talking about the defensive side of the football for LSU. And then we have confirmed that Sage Ryan, second-year safety for LSU, will be in studio with us next Wednesday. He'll be stopping by and coming through here and talking about his expectation going into his sophomore season at a position that LSU really needs some production from. And Sage Ryan feels like a name and a guy that really has a chance to step up and make a name for himself here in his second season in Baton Rouge. And we'll talk to Coach House about the expectation on Sage coming up tomorrow. A lot of stuff starting to buzz around the sports world. Tonight's the NBA draft. NBA draft is going to take place at 7 o'clock tonight. Pelicans have the 8th pick in the draft. There are a couple of possibilities for the Pelicans at that spot. The last time you've seen an all-star taken at the 8th spot has been a while. So it's tough to really get an impact player, even though you're in the lottery. At this point in the lottery, you got to be really refined on your analysis and what you're looking for. But it's a possibility that they could wrap this thing up and trade it. We've seen David Griffin and the Pelicans make some moves to get some draft equity and get some players that have helped them out, maybe. And this is a possibility that they are able to bundle up the 8th pick with a couple of players to pull somebody in like a veteran that could help them get over the top. So tonight's the NBA draft as well. We'll dive a little bit into that. Big announcement from LSU yesterday, and this is a long time coming. It was announced yesterday, actually on Pistol Pete's, what would have been his 75th birthday yesterday, when LSU announced that they are going to be unveiling a Pistol Pete Maravich campus statue. The decision to build the statue of Maravich was approved unanimously by the LSU Board of Supervisors back in 2016. It'll stand on the north side of the Maravich Center alongside Shaq's statue, Bob Pettit's statue, right there. I'd imagine that's where Simone's statue will be erected as well. The statue will be revealed of Pistol Pete coming up on July 25th at 6 o'clock. That'll be a private reception to take place in the PMAC afterwards. This feels like this should have been done a long time ago, right?
I was wondering why did it take so long?
LSU was they were in a weird place for a long time on how they handled alumni, and I think like one of the prerequisites for it was that you had to be a graduate before you could be recognized. Like Shaquille O'Neal had to graduate before he could have his number retired, and people were like, "Hang on." This is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, Shaq has donated countless millions of dollars since he's left. He can have his number retired.
Jesus.
Build the guy a statue.
No.
You know what I mean? But Shaq did finally graduate from LSU. I believe he graduated like in 2002. He came back a part of the Los Angeles Lakers. And this was like Shaq in his prime. I mean, he was the diesel. He was like the MVP of the league when he came back and got
Wait,
got
how
his
did
degree.
He do that?
Online, but
Okay.
I mean,
Did he really do it,
I'm
though?
sure
Did they
somebody
really
at
make you
LSU
do
was
it?
like, "Look, just give him an honorary degree." You know, I think Shaq wanted to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think he wanted to kind of fulfill the promise to his mom and to his family to graduate. So you know, I mean, I'm not certain if he was sitting in Coates Hall. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm
when he was a part of the
picturing.
Lakers, but I mean, I'd imagine that he was doing something online.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do online even during that time, right?
Wait, yeah, I
You know,
guess you
too.
could.
I mean, I was in college there. I don't remember taking any online courses, but I mean,
No,
How many
but
classes did you really take?
yeah,
It's
I
a
don't
better
know
question.
if he had that option then.
Somebody in the comments said that they should put the Pete Maravich statue in front of the PMAC.
Yeah.
So PMAC's
look,
named after
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. I
'Cause
think
that's the
that
thing.
Go
too.
grab Coach. We go grab Coach, please. Coach Denbrock just pulled up. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that, and there's a great spot for it at the bottom of those ramps that you walk up. But there is discussion of blowing up the PMAC. Like there's talk like down the line of a whole new facility in that area where you've got practice facility, new age arena, rather than just going in there and just kind of like trying to catch it up to 2022 standards. A lot like what they've done with the Dome. The Superdome
yeah.
was built in the 70s. They've made it very modern over the years just by, reconstructing to keep it up. There's discussions on doing that with the Maravich Center, but I think there's also a plan that is being talked about where they just totally just blow the thing up and build a whole new one.
Jeez.
The PMAC is so iconic, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
That's
is.
like a focal point of campus. It's like Tiger Stadium and the PMAC.
Yeah.
It is, but it is, as far as facilities concerned, very low on just as far as the facility management or what it provides to the student athlete. Very far behind the times.
It needs help.
right? It needs a facelift.
It'll
it needs
still
an
be
update.
there, same spot.
Absolutely,
It has rats.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
it
know
does.
we know it has
does.
rats.
It does. All right, right now is a very instrumental time for LSU football as far as building the roster goes. They have just come out of a couple of weeks of on-campus camps where they've brought in kids, they've brought in recruits, they've brought in some of the elite prospects from around the country. Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator, we will ask him about the recruiting part, getting settled into Baton Rouge, what it has been like since being announced on the job in January, the transition from Cincinnati to LSU. Lots of stuff to get with Coach Denbrock. He has just walked in the studio, and we are looking forward to the conversation. When we come back, we will have Mike Denbrock with us, sitting down talking LSU football. Looking forward to it next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, daily, we are brought to you by our friends over at RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew, rmb-builders.com. If you are looking for a custom design home, if you need some help with a project that you have around the house and you need some handiwork done, RMB can help you. They are also commercially licensed as well. So if you need anything done around the office, get in touch with RMB. rmb-builders.com is the website. That's a great place to find out a lot of their work of what they've done, but let them help you build, buy, or remodel your home today. Online, rmb-builders.com. Play caller for the Tigers, Mike Denbrock, on the offensive side of the ball. Next, when we come back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. What else we got? One more. Voicemail. Hang on 1 second, Jamil. We're coming to you after this
Jamil's just in there
voicemail.
talking. We're all snapping at her. Shut up.
Shut up back there.
I was just calling to find out when the Jordy Culotta Invitational is going down. Don't make it soon because it's too damn hot. I know y'all know that with the lack of AC going on at the joint. And if Rico Delgado's listening, he's a bitch. Send my condolences to Jock. Bye. I was just calling to find.
That's awesome.
Bro,
He
that's
is
the Call
listening.
Hall of Fame.
There it is.
That is.
That's the one seed.
That's what we needed.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's what we've been looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't play it long. And you know what? We need to cut that up. Play that last part again. Let me hear that last part. We should be able to cut this part up.
I know y'all know that with the lack of AC going on at the joint. And if Rico Delgado's listening, he's a bitch. Sorry, WAFB.
Sorry, WAFB.
That'll be a fine wherever you are. Whoever you are, where are you
It's
calling
from
from?
Spring, Texas.
Okay, I
Send
love
us
it,
a
dude.
dollar.
See, that's what we need. We need to know your name. Inspiration, man.
Appreciate
I
that.
cannot wait to watch your group play. And the reason we said this to the public, we wanted to get you on, is because everybody that's come through here, recruit, player in the locker room, coaches, have mentioned your name of making an impact on their time or their decision to be at LSU. So keep doing it right, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Like I
Absolutely.
said, you give our guys a platform. They come in talking about the show, so
Yeah.
this is awesome. Nice setup too. I might steal one of these couches.
Yeah, you got it, bro. You got it. We got a lot of gear for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
LSU cornerbacks coach Robert Steeple's in with us for that was great inspiration, man.
Appreciate
I
that.
cannot. All right, personal testimony from my trip over to Johnson and Spillers. Shout out to my friend Dr. Chad Spillers for taking care of me, man. I had to have my front tooth, a tooth implanted on my front tooth, and it was a hell of an ordeal. But Dr. Spillers and the crew from Johnson and Spillers made it as easy and seamless as possible to work with, and have taken the final product, and it is absolutely beautiful. Learn more online at johnsonspillers.com. Whether you're looking for Botox or you need help in any type of dentistry, whether it is dentures, night guards, if you're looking for Invisalign, if you're interested in implant dentistry like I got, you can get in touch with Johnson Spillers. Online, johnsonspillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easiest way to get them, online at johnsonspillers.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Really been cool to catch up with Brian Kelly's staff and some of the new faces on this roster, some of the returning guys that are coming back on this roster, and some of the things that they've had to say about what LSU football, how they're operating now, the organization, the accountability, all that is going into the program. Mike Denbrock has been alongside Brian Kelly at a couple of stops, including Grand Valley State and, of course, at Notre Dame. He has spent the last couple of seasons at Cincinnati running that offense up there, and you saw what they were able to do last season with Desmond Ridder and the Bearcats making the college football playoff. Mike Denbrock is now calling the plays down here in Baton Rouge. It's been a whirlwind since he has been announced in January, all through camps and spring football and roster management and trying to get everything straight. So we appreciate him carving out a couple of minutes here with us on this Wednesday or Thursday morning to talk a little LSU. Coach, welcome to Baton Rouge, and good morning.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. I know you're a great friend of the program, and this show in particular, highlighting the players that I've seen come through here, and the coaches, we're grateful to have the opportunity.
Well, we're grateful that you guys are giving us and our platform a chance to talk to you guys and learn a little bit more about what's going on. It's been real interesting to hear kind of the change and shift since Brian Kelly has taken over for LSU and just the day-to-day operations. You're so familiar with Coach Kelly. Can you talk about you guys' relationship and just kind of how you got to this point?
Yeah, this is my third time Coach Kelly and I have worked together. Well, actually the fourth time, I guess you could. We were GAs together at a Division II school in Michigan called Grand Valley. That's where I went to school and played college ball. And this young man shows up from the East Coast, and we got to be friends and worked as GAs there together. I kind of went on about my journey, ended up going to Michigan State as a GA and Illinois State. And in the meantime, Brian had stayed at Grand Valley, kind of got the head coaching job there. The minute that he did, the phone rang, and we got back together again. I went back to Grand Valley and worked with him there for 7 seasons before other ventures came along and moved around like a lot of coaches do. When he worked his way through the head coaching ranks and did such a great job at so many programs. Obviously Notre Dame paid attention to all that and hired him as the head football coach. The phone rang again, and back to South Bend I went for a second time. I was there with Coach Willingham earlier in my career, and then LSU happens, and here we are, like a bad penny. I just you can't get rid of me when you want to.
You mentioned it at your press conference right before spring that you have worked very hard in your coaching career to get to this point. I think you were talking about just the opportunity to call plays at an SEC school like LSU. Take me a little bit through your journey and how you wound up here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, like most coaches, a number of different stops along the way from, being with Brian in the early days and then kind of breaking away and going and doing my own thing. I was very fortunate to get on at Stanford with Tyrone Willingham through some mutual friends, and spent a lot of time early in my career as a tackle tight end / offensive line type of coach. And what moving into more of a coordinator role, I think, over my time has allowed me to do is, when I was at Notre Dame with Brian and coordinating the offense, I was actually the wide receiver coach. Had an opportunity to coach quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs and kind of get a full perspective of offensive football, if you will. I will say one of the things that I think benefited me tremendously when Brian and I were together at Grand Valley years ago. Brian was more of a defensive coach. He was the defensive coordinator at Grand Valley. We got an opportunity after the 1995 season. This is a long time ago for everybody. I'm sorry if I'm dating myself a little bit, but him and I actually swapped jobs. So he took over the offense because he felt like he wanted to get in a position where he was more of a play caller and kind of had a more of a perspective, and I became the defensive coordinator.
Wow.
And talk about an education in, how teams scheme to take things away and what you need to do defensively to, and really how to take advantage of some of those things, I hope. And so that probably benefited me along the way as much as anything, just that kind of different perspective and gaining some knowledge of what it's like to be on the other side of the ball and try to take some people out of the game and all that kind of stuff. And when I moved back over to the offensive side, it kind of helped me, I think, understand how to keep them from taking your best players away from you, number one. And number two, just trying to instill maybe that defensive philosophy about playing hard and togetherness and unit strength and how important that is even on the offensive side of the ball.
That is a cool project, I guess, internally from a coaching standpoint. I mean, it takes some guts, right, to make that type of move.
It does. And, one thing about Coach Kelly that I've always admired, and there's many things, but in particular, his ability to be light on his feet, see where the game is going, not afraid to make changes or adjustments or, where things are needed to enhance the program. He's going to move in a direction that makes sure things become, easier for the players, more productive for the players, and therefore develop a better program along the way.
Yeah, we've seen offenses, and you mentioned it a couple of times, being multiple, right? You want to be able to be multiple. Whatever defenses give you, you want to be able to react, or at least you kind of dictate how they're going to play. How have you seen offensive football change, I guess, over the last decade to where it is now?
Yeah, I mean, it's gone a lot more, obviously, to a more spread out way of playing the game of football and trying to utilize, space and grass and where the holes are, getting the football into those spaces and allowing the athletes to kind of do what they do. Yeah. Guys, there's guys on every team that are explosive and need to touch the football, and finding ways to create space for those guys in defensive structures is really where the game's kind of gone to. There's different styles within that. I mean, I wouldn't put us kind of in the category of an old-fashioned maybe Chip Kelly go warp speed as fast as you possibly can, but we definitely want to be a group that plays up on our toes, dictates the tempo of the game, controls the tempo of the game, but also does it in an incredibly physical style.
What was your expectation going into spring here down in LSU, and then what was your takeaway from it?
Yeah, I mean, I think going in it was just I was more in evaluation mode, I think, trying to get a better feel for personnel, where we were, trying to kind of gauge how we needed to use the system that Coach Kelly and I and myself being at Cincinnati the last few years had developed over the years, and how it fit the guys that we had in the program. And, where does that go? Does that turn more towards throwing the football? Does that turn more towards leaning on the running backs and the offensive line? What does that exactly look like? And that was probably headed in, was an answer that we had to, kind of come up with. I don't know that we got a full answer. I think we've got some glimpses. Yeah. That we've got obviously a very talented wide receiver room. The running backs are very good. So the edges of our offense, I think, are the skill level can match up with anybody. So we've got to take advantage of that with what we do. So I think that I came away with that. I love the improvement that the offensive line made over the course of the spring. We moved a lot of guys around purposefully to try to get a feel for who fit best where, who was going to kind of be those guys. And I think we sorted that out a little bit. We've got some more work to do there as we head into fall camp. And then obviously, the quarterback situation. I don't know, in today's college football world, I don't know anybody who's got a better quarterback room than we do when it comes to not only knowledge of the game but talent. Maybe a lot of those guys, we've got a couple guys with experience and a couple guys that don't have experience, as much experience, but the talent level there and the ability to distribute the football and run the offense is at a very high level. So it's exciting.
You guys did an incredible job of rebuilding the roster. I mean, when LSU pulled out of that bowl game on the Texas Bowl, it would be hard to fathom how they were going to get to 5 wins next year. But the competitive spirit that you guys have infused into the roster as far as forming competition was really cool to see in spring. I'd say the fiercest piece of competition is at the quarterback spot. I would agree 100%. Well,
I think they're in the wide receiver room. I mean, I think there's a lot of guys in that wide receiver room that can make plays for LSU,
Yeah.
and we're going to give them the opportunities to do that. I think, when you talk about the quarterback situation in particular, it's a little bit of a two-edged sword when you have so many talented guys in there. Fortunately, we've got a lot of guys who also have their mindset on being here at LSU and being part of. It's not a rebuild; it's a retool, if you will, and getting us back at our rightful place amongst the elite of college football. And those kids are committed to that. They've done an incredible job of competing on the field, but also supporting one another and making each other better. And healthy competition, there's nothing like it. And the more you can create it within the individual rooms and have those guys, fierce competitors, get out on the field and you win the job. You go out there and feel like it's your job.
Yeah.
Don't lose that. But also, that's your teammate. He's going through the same things you are. Support him, be there for him when he needs you, and just go compete.
It seems like the most common compliment you get within football is that you're adaptive. Wherever you've been, you've kind of adapted to the personnel. Your quarterback room has different skill sets to it, right? How do you implement what you want to do, not knowing who your guy is yet, and making sure that you're prepared to play once the season gets here?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a base way that we're going to play offense no matter who the quarterback is. There are certainly some tweaks to it that will happen depending on who ends up inevitably winning the job. So you kind of look at it from a perspective of, okay, as we're installing, here's the basis of who we are. We're going to be built on a strong run game. We're going to run the football effectively, even when they think they know we're going to run it. We're going to play action pass you off of our run game. We're going to RPO you off of our run game and do a number of things with that. And then we want to stretch the football field. We want to throw the ball down the field, and we're going to do what we can to create explosive plays down the field. So if that's your basis, no matter who the quarterback is, then how you tweak it as far as, is it a little bit more of a pocket presence, is it a little bit more of an athletic guy? Those subtleties can be kind of inserted in there at the times that they're needed to when that decision gets made.
Will Campbell and Emory Jones have been through here the last couple of weeks, and then Miles Frazier came through here a couple of weeks ago. Very heady football players, smart guys. You mentioned the improvement that you saw on the offensive line. That seems like a really good group as far as guys, new faces, new names, but really competitive.
Yeah, I think it's going to be it's fun for me. I mean, I'm kind of a little bit my mind always goes first to the offensive line, just because kind of I was a offensive line GA, and that's kind of where my when I learned the game, I really felt like I learned the game. That's kind of where I learned it from. So my mind first of all goes there. I think we've got an offensive line coach in Brad Davis that is just an incredible teacher, relationship builder, and you see it in that room. I mean, that room in particular is one that has to be in each other's corner. You back them into the corner. All those guys need to have each other's back and fight their way out. And I think we've got the makings of that. I think a lot of progress was made over the spring, as I said. Will Campbell in particular, I mean, Lord have mercy. I mean, the guy should have been, going to the prom. And here he is, dominant on the practice field. And the things that he's not as good at as he feels like he needs to be, he's a tireless worker to correct them and do better. So I think that's spilled over a little bit. And I think some of the guys that were in the room got a little bit of a wake-up call when Will showed up and was playing the way that he was playing. And, again, it just goes back, again, to healthy competition within that room and them understanding that we're going to play the best five guys and we're going to figure out who those best five guys are, and we're going to roll with them.
Yeah. Speaking of guys that you add into the mix, Noah Kane sat right where you were yesterday, another one into your running back room that feels like it's kind of pro-ready. John Emery feels like he's a guy. Armani Goodwin's in that room. How have you evaluated that room now that you add Noah Kane into it this offseason?
Yeah, I think they got better and better and better as the spring went along. Yeah. Again, there's a number of different skill sets kind of in that room. Sure. We're an offense that is not afraid to throw the ball to the backs, we're going to get them out in the routes. We're going to use them in the passing game as well as the running game, and I think there's some versatility in that room that can allow us to do that. Adding a Noah Kane to that room, I think adds, a professionalism, if you will. And I don't want to like talk about the guy like he's 50 years old or anything, but he's been through the wars, and obviously coming from the program that he came from is somebody that knows how to do things the right way. You insert a guy like that who's very talented into that room, and what you do is just kind of do the same thing we were talking about with the rest of the crew. You kind of up the ante a little bit, and you put everybody on notice that this train's going to continue to move. We're going to find great players that want to be part of LSU and help this football team win games, and you better bring your best every day.
What have you made of your offensive staff? Joe Sloan, Cortez Hankton, you mentioned.
I
Brad
apologize
Davis and
for
Frank
him
Wilson.
coming through here, by the way. Coach Sloan is a handful.
There's a term up in Louisiana Tech, you got Sloaned. There would be players that ask, how did you end up in Ruston? There's like, Joe Sloan got me here. He recruited me. But you got a lot of good guys on that side of the ball, too. It seems like you got some guys that really enjoy working together.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I've never worked with any of the full-time coaches before I walked in the door here, and knew about a few of them.
Sure.
And have crossed paths with them, whether it's be recruiting or standing on the other side of the field from them or whatever. But what an amazing group of men. And it's an honor to be in charge of that room and have a voice in that room. And what I want to create in there more than anything in the offensive staff room is I want to support them in their goals and dreams and help them grow as coaches if I possibly can. I want to put them in positions where they feel like their voice is important to what we're doing and how we're doing it, and do this in a way that it's a collection of really good football coaches and really good men. And Brian did an incredible job of filling that room full of people that do just that every day. Yeah. So sometimes it's a little bit hard to get some work done because we have such a good time together, but it's a good problem to have. Sometimes I just have to kind of redirect the conversations a little bit more towards football instead of us giving each other a hard time.
I'll tell you, you kind of have the reputation of the practical joker of the guys that have come through here. You're the ones that they kind of look over their shoulder to make sure Denbrock's not creeping.
I like to keep people on their toes for sure. And, that type of atmosphere I just think is a fun one to be a part of, and we want that for the players and the coaches, and just a clear understanding of, listen, there's a time when it's time to work, and we're going to work harder than anybody else does at being really good at what we do, but we're going to have fun doing it at the same time.
My son's going into 6th grade. He was a part of the 1,300 campers that were on campus last Thursday for the youth camp. I'd imagine y'all have had thousands of prospects and campers come through there over the last 2 weeks. How does that help you in your evaluation, and how much stock does the coaching staff put into on-campus camps like you guys just coming out of?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like it. I mean, watching film is one thing. Having the opportunity to get the guy in front of you and see what he does in person, coach him. How does he take it? You know what I mean? How does he take information in? How does he process information? How does he, what ability does he have to do what you're asking him to do? Those things are invaluable. And having an opportunity here, which is a little bit unique, I think, to other camps that I've been a part of, and they're all over the place. I mean, there's really good athletic guys running fast and catching balls and blocking people. They're all over the camp. Mm-hmm. And getting around to identify them is probably the hardest part.
Right.
And making sure that you're seeing those guys, but even guys that are not going to graduate until 2025. We had some really good 26 guys that are in the 26 I mean, right. 10 years ago you never even thought about talking to somebody going into their freshman year or their sophomore year. You may say hi to them, but you weren't hands-on coaching them But with recruiting the way it is in today's college football world, you got to get in there. You got to establish relationships with these young men, and they're so much more advanced. Whatever way you want to kind of look at that, I mean, from a technical standpoint and really their understanding of how to play football is more advanced than it's ever been, and that allows us to really get some good evaluation on these guys even when they're very young.
You guys at Cincinnati ran into Alabama in the college football playoff semifinal last season. What's your vantage point of the SEC, and what's your expectation of coming into the league?
Yeah, I mean, well, the last 2 years we were blessed at Cincinnati to play Georgia in the Peach Bowl and Alabama in the semifinal game, and obviously that's a whole different level than what we had yet to achieve at the University of Cincinnati. So just incredibly impressed with across the board how athletic everybody is. The size of the linemen is incredible.
Is that the difference?
I mean, I think that's the big piece of it.
Yeah.
You know, I think the big takeaway would be along the line of scrimmage, it's just different. And those guys are massive. They're athletic. And you better be able to match up with them. And I think that's one of the reasons we've put a lot of emphasis on, what we're doing with the offensive line in particular. I mean, if we can make that group whole, cohesive unit with some aggressiveness to them, we've got a chance to maybe surprise some people with what we're able to do.
And just looking at you guys in spring, it feels like you'll be in every game because of your defensive front. It feels like you have
those guys.
right?
Nothing's. I'm sorry to cut you off,
No.
Jordy, but those guys in particular on the defensive line, our defensive line is hard to deal with.
I'd imagine,
and,
yes.
It's frustrating, but it's in the back of your mind, you're kind of going, man, I'm glad we got all those dudes. Right. And in practice, it's kind of like, Jesus, can we get a pass off?
Larry, take a break.
Yeah, can you guys just, can we roll some guys into the game, please, for
right.
a couple minutes so we can get some work done offensively? But, those guys are difference makers. Yeah. And, I look forward to watching those guys play in the fall. And I think, going back to the competition end of things and that discussion, all that does is make our offensive line better. Yeah. I mean, those guys, they better, show up every day ready to get after it. And I think it really helped our guys grow as the spring went along.
Take me back to the offseason of 2018 at Cincinnati. How close did Luke Fickell, you and the staff, believe that you were close to landing Joe Burrow?
To be honest with you, we thought he was coming for sure. Yeah. We thought it was over.
There was a portion of people down here that thought that Cincinnati was going to win out.
And fortunately, it worked out on both ends for both of us. Yeah. And obviously, Coach Fickell's relationship with Joe while he was at Ohio State and our relationship with Joe's dad in particular was a strong pull to get him at Cincinnati. And we had a young Desmond Ridder and weren't quite sure what he was yet. He had made improvements, but we didn't know exactly where that was going to go in his development. And we were in a position at other places on our football team at that time to win a lot of games, and we needed to make sure we kind of shored that up. And he comes down, we have conversations, and he goes, I think I'll just go, down to LSU for the weekend. I'm not planning on going, Coach. I just want to kind of take a trip. And, oh, yeah, okay, Joe. I appreciate it. But, right. But when you get here, right, when I moved here, it became very clear in, like, the first 2 seconds why Cincinnati probably really never had a chance. And the chance we had was our relationship with Joe and, Coach Fickell's relationship with Joe from being at Ohio State. But once you see Tiger Stadium, once you get around the people in this community and the people that support this football program and this athletic department, I don't know how you say no.
You've been in the industry for 30-plus years in coaching. You've been around it for a long time. You mentioned at your press conference what a job like LSU means like in being in this position. When you were, before you got here, what was the vantage point of LSU? 3 national championships, 3 coaches, 20 years, SEC. Now that you're here, how big is the beast?
Yeah, it's incredible. I have to really honestly wake up every day and just go, sometimes it just hits me like, you're the offensive coordinator at LSU. How cool is that? And, watching from afar for so many years and having such admiration for the style of play at LSU and how guys dug in to support the state of Louisiana and LSU in particular was something that I kind of longed to be a part of, if that makes sense. Sure. And when the opportunity presented itself, it was just a feeling of man, this is the pinnacle. This is a destination place that you work your whole career for an opportunity to be a part of, and I just feel blessed and more than anything grateful.
Not only are you the offensive coordinator, you focus on the tight ends as well on the practice field. How do you evaluate that position coming out of spring and going into the offseason?
We got some work to do. Yeah. We've got, I think, enough there to be competitive in this league and give a lot more to the offensive unit than maybe has been given the last couple years. But it's nowhere near where it needs to be for us to be a championship football team yet. I think they understand that. I mean, they listen, they hear the whispers of how much better they got to get at what they do. I was incredibly encouraged by their work ethic in the spring, their willingness to get better and to have hard conversations and to dig into details of what it's going to take for us to contribute on a little bit higher level at that individual position in particular. And I was proud of them for that. But they know there's another level we've got to get to be the type of unit that can be counted on in this league to be consistently good.
Can you explain the challenge in what it was like to build this roster to where it is now and what it was like to recruit to that once you hit the ground in Baton Rouge? It seemed like, you guys probably haven't unpacked the box at your houses yet just because of all of the work that you've had to do up to this point. Can you explain what it was like to get to the roster where it is now?
Yeah, first of all, it's a never-ending process, right? It's something that luckily we've got an incredible recruiting department that, does a lot of the legwork in bringing us players. And then, once those guys get identified, we certainly, after the bowl game, when you sat down and looked at the roster, there wasn't any spot that we didn't have a need.
Right.
And, the ability of this staff in particular to kind of dig in together and work together to make sure that we made the roster stronger. I don't think any of us feel like it's a finished product by any stretch of the imagination. That's an ongoing deal that we're addressing even as we speak. But I feel like we put ourselves in a position where we know we can line up and compete. Yeah. And that's really where we needed to get to, at least as a foundation. And I think the staff did an incredible job of accomplishing that.
Transfer defensive back Mekhi Garner came in yesterday and was talking about how much his body is transformed in Jacob Flint's program, whether it was in the spring conditioning program or now here in the offseason. How important is that part of what you guys are doing, and what have been your impressions of Coach Flint up to this point?
Yeah, I've known Jake, fortunately, for a number of years, and have always loved the way that he works with the individual players and with the group collectively. Accountability, the demands that he puts on them, the discipline that is required to have success in our SWAT teams and in our weight room and in our off-season conditioning program is something that just instills those type of traits and habits into the football team when they take the football field. So, the strength coach in today's college football is more important, in my opinion, than the offensive coordinator. He's more important than the defensive coordinator. They spend way more time with those guys than we're allowed to by NCAA rule. And that's really where the foundation of who you are at your core gets formed. And you got to have the right guy in that job, and we certainly do. And the players will tell you, the things that are going on there in our conditioning program. And we were out yesterday watching the team run, and we did a team run and kind of a competition drill work and things like that. The guys are getting after it, and they're doing a nice job of digging in and understanding where we're trying to take them and giving themselves the best opportunity to be successful in the fall.
You sideline or press box guy?
Well, I think that's still I like calling it from the sideline. I don't think that's ultimately my decision, so I'm going to defer to my boss, and if he decides he needs me upstairs a little bit more, that's where I'll be. I kind of like to be on the sideline just because I like to get a feel for the players. I like to look them in the eye.
Sure.
I feel like I can make adjustments better from down there just because it's a little bit more of my system that we're kind of installing and something, that Coach Kelly, obviously being the head coach, he's involved with other things. So we'll see how it works out. I was up in the box for the spring game, so I'm comfortable either spot. Have done it either way, but we'll see what the ultimate decision is there.
Hunt, fish, golf, any way to get away from it?
Love to golf.
Is that how you
I
get
love
away
to
from it?
golf.
Yeah.
Golf doesn't love me, but I love golf, that kind of thing. So I love to get out and swing. I've got a 10-year-old son who is now old enough to get out on the course with me a little bit and play. But most of my free time is family time. And, with the 10-year-old son, he keeps me busy, keeps me young. And running around chasing him is one of my great joys.
Impressions of Baton Rouge. What's it been like early on here?
The food is killing me. As you can see, if there's I know this is kind of being filmed, you can see that, Baton Rouge has done me really well. I'm about plus 10 or more since I moved to the city, so I got to clean that up a little bit. Headed into fall camp myself. I've got some summer conditioning myself that I need to do to get ready. But it reminds me a lot. I grew up in a small town in the state of Michigan called Homer, Michigan. Shout out to Homer, Michigan. Nice. It's a town of about 1,750 people. Just a community of people that were, supportive and you felt like they had your back. And I feel the same thing here in Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. And it's just been an easy transition and really smooth and enjoyable.
That climate is vastly different.
Plus we're still undefeated.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're undefeated right now. So it's probably as good as it's ever going to get. But
still get the free meals around here.
We're going to enjoy it as long as we can.
How hot is it?
It's warm.
Yeah.
It's warm. It's different. It's different for sure. But fortunately, I enjoy the heat. I enjoy getting out and working in it. And so I'm looking forward to it. And luckily, I've got some time to kind of get acclimated a little bit before fall camp starts.
I know you can't speak individually about recruits, but when you look at this recruiting cycle, it is very healthy with quarterback talent, especially in this state of Louisiana. How do you evaluate that position when you recruit it?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, the quarterback talent in this state in particular this year is elite. Mm-hmm. And, I think you have to look at, what are their physical tools and how do they fit what your philosophy is offensively. And, some fit better than others, obviously. But I think from a quarterback standpoint, when we're evaluating quarterbacks, it starts with, arm strength. It starts with they have to have a little bit of athleticism about them. Do they have to be a runner? No, they don't. Can they move in the pocket and make some plays with their feet? I think that's a big piece of it. And then I think once we get a chance to kind of be around them, after we've identified them, is how do they process information? And that position in particular, and what we do offensively, we ask an awful lot of the quarterback, and from protections to audibles to hey, if you see this, you're free to, here's your menu, go make it right, that type of thing. And the more that we can put on the quarterback, the smoother our system runs.
Sure.
So the processing end of it and the ability to know and think the game becomes not exactly as critical as how strong their arm is, but it's a big, big piece of it.
We've seen a lot of people come to this part of the world to talk to Sean Payton about his play calling style and his offense and see how they could steal from that. Is there anybody that you look at, whether it's in the NFL or in college football, as a play caller that you really respect their work?
I mean, to be honest with you, this is a profession of swiping ideas.
Same here. we do a lot of thieving over here too.
There's a whole bunch of them,
Yeah.
and I will say this: I was always a big fan of Steve Esminger, and continue to be.
Yeah.
And so. I watched him from afar and reached out to Steve when I first moved to town and said what an honor it was to be in his chair and work here at LSU. So I think there's a bunch of people that I could probably name, but I'll just say that there's not an idea out there that I won't gravitate towards if I feel like it fits in our scheme and it makes us better.
Yeah.
And, I don't care where the idea comes from, quite frankly. As long as it makes us a better football team, we're going to use it.
Coach Denbrock, that's 30 minutes, man, of your time that we are very grateful for here on this Thursday morning. I know you're very busy and have a lot going on up at on campus and in the coaching offices. Welcome to Baton Rouge. Hopefully we can get you back here soon, and we appreciate your time very much.
Look forward to it. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. LSU offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock stopping through here for a couple of minutes on the Jordy Culotta Show here on this Thursday morning, giving us everything on LSU here in this offseason. We appreciate his time. We'll be back with more of the show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online, moralesrolloffs.com.
Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. What else we got? One more. Voicemail. Hang on one second, Jamil. We're coming to you after this
Jamil's just in there
voicemail.
talking, we're all snapping at her. Shut up.
Shut up back there.
I was just calling to find out when the Jordy Culotta Invitational is going down. Don't make it soon because it's too damn hot. I know y'all know that with the lack of AC going on at the joint. And if Rico Delgado's listening, he's a bitch. Send my condolences to Jock. Bye. I was just calling to find.
That's awesome.
Bro,
He
that's
is
the Call
listening.
Hall of Fame.
There it is.
That is.
That's the one seed.
That's what we needed.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's what we've been looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't play it long. And you know what? We need to cut that up. Play that last part again. Let me hear that last part. We should be able to cut this part up.
I know y'all know that with the lack of AC going on at the joint. And if Rico Delgado's listening, he's a bitch. Sorry, WAFB.
Sorry, WAFB.
That'll be a fine wherever you are. Whoever you are, where are you
It's
calling
from
from?
Spring, Texas.
Okay, I
Send
love
us
it,
a
dude.
dollar.
See, that's what we need. We need to know your name. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. How good was Denbrock?
He's so good.
That was great, man. Good information from Coach Denbrock on the LSU offense, LSU offseason, some of the recruiting going into this early summer months here, whether it was the on-campus camps that LSU was hosting or whether it was his evaluation on quarterbacks. It was interesting to hear Coach Denbrock from his point of view kind of give you a little bit of what they're thinking up there. We appreciate these coaches' time, man. This has been great for our show and for this platform. Again, this to me is what separates this platform from everybody else.
Yep.
Everybody else that's trying to do traditional media, everybody else who's trying to do the old school style of interviewing, you just can't do what we're pulling off each morning with these long form interviews of players and coaches coming through here and just sitting down, relaxing, answering questions for 30, 45, sometimes an hour. Whether it was Noah Kane or Mekhi Gardner yesterday, whether it's going to be Coach House tomorrow or Coach Denbrock this morning, it's been really eye-opening for us over on this platform to see this is how we're different. Mm-hmm. This is what makes this platform different. Not this show, the platform of being a digital-only, distribution point of media. And to have those guys talking and coming in here. And you heard Coach Denbrock off the jump. Coach Steeple said it last week. Coach Denbrock said it again here today. Those guys are watching the show inside that building, inside the football operations building, and they feel like they can come here and voice what is either coming up or what's going on at LSU, and we're very appreciative and grateful for that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting on all of the posts and getting them spread throughout social media and on YouTube. All of that helps us out tremendously, so we appreciate you being out there. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones, our friends over at Edward Jones. Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Look, right now, you're probably not peeking at your stocks. You're not paying attention to it, or you don't want to because the news seems to get bleaker every single day. But get in touch with a true professional like Daniel Newman, who can help you out, answer your questions, and like Newman did with me last week, man, brought me to lunch, sat me down, had some hard conversations about where the market is right now, what's going on with some of our investments, where the money is. But like he was able to show and prove, all of this has bounced back, and all of it will have good return. You just have to have patience, and that's one of the reasons why I trust Daniel so much with my money, and why you should trust him with yours, is because look, it's not always roses and rainbows, right? In that world, and if it's not, Daniel's going to shoot you straight and tell you what his strategy is to get you out of it, and I appreciate that. If you're looking for that type of representation, if you're looking for that type of relationship within your money and letting somebody help you out as far as trying to find good investment strategy, learn you on your 401k, your Social Security, how that can help you out with being able to save and invest, get in touch with Daniel. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. He is out he's out in Central on Market Square Avenue, right across from Stab. Stop in and see him.
Did y'all go to
Daniel
Stab's?
Newman. No, we went to Rocco's.
Okay. I thought you legit were about to give us stock tips just now.
I cannot.
When you talked about
I
when you were
thought he
like,
was,
the
too. I was
stock
like,
market, I was like, whoa, what
Hold
segment
on.
is this?
What are we going
I
into?
can't wait.
Yeah,
for
here
this.
is my stock tip. Call Daniel.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then that's all I got.
I wanted to tell Coach. I mean, I might have some eligibility left if he needs a tight end.
All right.
It's too light in the ass, bro.
I can block a little bit.
I mean, Noah's
Too
what
light
they're
in
looking
the
for.
ass?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
How much do you weigh?
Like 205.
Scout team coach. I mean,
Coach,
tight end.
you'd be surprised.
At what?
You'd be surprised.
At how physical you are? Tell that to Mike Jones Jr.
Okay.
Let's see that ass, Stewie.
Stand up, Stewie?
Stand up, Stewie.
Stand up.
Why do you
Stand
wanna
up.
see my-
Stand
I
up,
don't
Stewie.
know if we've
Stand
really
up.
ever turned to the side.
No,
Stand
you
up
ain't no
straight.
tight
You're
end,
being
Stewie.
weird.
You
got an
ain't no
ass.
tight
You got an
end.
ass, though.
Thank you.
Let me
He's
see.
got an ass. He's got
Stand
an
up.
ass.
Thank you.
Half
Look
moon,
at him.
full moon? Nah, you ain't no tight end, bro. You ain't no tight end, cuz. Jamil, tight end? Yo! Bree.
It's a tight end for
Tight
sure,
end?
Stewie.
Oh, Bree left.
I love it.
Put it on the poll. Is Stewie a tight end? Yes or no?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Does Stewie have a tight end? Yes or no? Walk the catwalk, Stewie.
Yeah.
So we appreciate Coach Denbrock for coming through here. What else is going on in the sports world?
What else is going on in the damn sports world?
We mentioned the Pistol Pete statue.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of what we were in the middle of, was the PMAC thing.
Tonight is the NBA draft. I've got no idea who the Pelicans could select at 8. I do believe that Tari Eason will come off the board within the lottery. I expect him to be a top 10, top 14 pick.
Do we watch the draft? What's that like?
Boring.
I haven't really watched the NBA draft.
I mean, after the top
Like,
three
what
picks,
happened? Like, how long does
Yeah.
it last? Like, well, I don't think I've ever watched
probably
it.
2 hours. It's not as long as the
Okay.
NFL draft.
Okay.
There's only 2 rounds.
All right.
There's only
So
60
that's a little
picks.
easier.
Um,
Where is it? Where do they do it?
Is it in Brooklyn?
And is it live?
Is it in Brooklyn? It's at
Like, they're
Barclays.
there.
Yes. Oh no,
Everyone's there.
They try to make it a television show like the NFL
Okay.
does. And look, there's going to be a lot of people watching for the first 30 minutes. I think a little bit of debate on Jabari Smith and Chet Holmgren going 1 or 2, and then Paolo
Yeah.
Banchero.
I'll probably just watch for the outfits, honestly.
I think
Yeah.
Jabari goes first. If I'm Orlando, I would take Jabari first. Oklahoma City's got the second pick. There's a lot of love for Chet Holmgren, the big 7-footer at Gonzaga. I read yesterday, where at the NBA pre-draft camp, they measured him at 7 foot 1.5 inch was his height. 1.5
Jeez.
was his official height, and he weighed 192 pounds.
Gee, what?
Coach, I weigh 187.
Wait, talk about not a
that
tight
seems-
end.
I need a photo of that.
I mean,
Chet,
like
you
that
wanna see
feels
him?
Yeah.
feels like
He looks
you
like
can't
the
be like
Slim
that
Reaper.
feels like.
that's like Sophie. Like, it's
science
just a
can't
tall
hold him up.
toothpick. Yeah.
But the thing about Holmgren's game is like he's kind of like an FU dude. Like he kind of likes to play physical and play out and running. I just don't know
Or
how.
his legs super skinny. They have
Yeah,
to be,
I mean
right?
he weighs
Just little sticks.
192 pounds at 7
Oh,
feet
he's
tall.
on there right now.
I mean that's like Gumby.
That's weird. He's up there. Like on the news.
Yeah, there it is. I think Paolo's the best player.
Yeah.
There he is, too.
Not Jabari?
I mean, it's between Jabari and Paolo. I think Jabari's going to go 1 just because Jabari's that prospect that you look at and you're like, oh, my God. I mean, jeez. Great ass.
I want him.
Yeah, absolutely. I want 4 of him.
What's
I mean,
going on with Sharif? What's his situation?
man, I don't
Do we know? Does anyone
I mean,
know?
he's putting his name into the draft.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's not going to get drafted.
You don't think so?
No chance.
What will happen to him?
I think
Lakers
there's
will
only
probably
one
get him.
team that's going to sign him,
Who?
the Lakers. I just think that.
Isn't there like something between he and his dad about
yeah, his
that?
dad told him he shouldn't go.
Katie, this is Chet Holmgren.
Okay. Oh yeah, look at that wingspan. Jeez.
He plays like a guard, too.
It is like Sophie's body.
The fingers on that guy.
Exactly.
E.T.
Oh my
Phone home.
gosh. Yeah. What is his wingspan, I wonder?
If he's 7'1", his wingspan's got to be at least that. You'd imagine that it's probably longer than that.
Look
Like-
at the
Yeah,
length
he's
of
probably
the
like
forearm.
7'5", 7'6".
Might be 8 foot.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
I got Jabari Smith going 1. I got Chet Holmgren going 2. And then I got Paolo going 3.
Can
Who's
you bet
third?
on
Is
this?
Sacramento? Who's got the
Ew.
third pick tonight? Ugh.
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 I would not even want to hear that name. Like, oh my God, Sacramento.
The 4th pick in the draft, you might as well be 24th.
It's like,
I mean, like, after that, it's a nothing but a crapshoot. Nothing but a crapshoot.
let's see what we get.
Who's the 4th best prospect in this draft? Jaden Ivey. I don't know. I think that Jabari. I really think that Jabari is going to be like an all-star. I mean, the way that he can. He's new age NBA. He's 7-footer that can shoot a 3.
That's why so many people love Chet too.
Yeah.
'Cause he's a
No, he's
seven-footer that
he's a modern guy, man. I mean, Jabari. I was reading his pre-draft report. He only had 13 dunks in 1 year at Auburn. Like, think about that. I mean, he's 7 feet tall. I mean, it kind of gives you an idea of his style of play. He's more of an outside guy. He doesn't really crash. He's not gonna. I mean, and 7 of them were runouts. You know what I mean? So like 7 of them were just steals and dunks in the open floor. I don't know, man. I think that Jabari's too attractive not to take it 1, and I think that Holmgren and Banchero are the top 3 players in this draft, and then Jaden Ivey's kind of right there on the fence. But then after that, it really is a crapshoot. I mean, Stewie, numbers are trending well on this tight end vote.
Ooh, what is
Brought
it?
to you by our friends over at Southern Eye Center of Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway.
You're saying you do have the tight end? I voted yes.
53-45 right now.
There you go. I voted yes.
Thank you, Katie.
Can we go to the Cayman Islands Classic for LSU basketball?
That'd be awesome.
I mean, remember, we talked about it last year, but then it got canceled because of COVID. Or 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago?
His wingspan is 7'6".
Damn.
I mean,
You ain't getting by that, coach.
scratch your ankle standing straight up.
I mean, that's weird.
He
I
can
heard,
at
a
least
scout,
scratch his knees.
I heard a scout break down Tyrus Thomas. Said that one time when they came to an LSU basketball practice. Tyrus was walking out like of the tape, like of the he had just gotten like taped up.
The training room.
Yeah, the training room. And he's like walking and he's like eating a cookie or something. He's like singing like Boosie, like walking in. And the guy's like, and there was one pro scout that said, "Good God, the guy could scratch his ankle standing straight up."
That's awesome.
I was like, you gotta think about it for a minute.
I
You know, you're kinda
I
like,
did.
Wow, that's a great one. That's a great one.
That is pretty good.
Dwayne Dumars, Ivy is the best player in this draft. Hughes Bowden, don't sleep on Ivy. Rockets have the 3rd pick. Brad David, Jordy, do you think Ben Simmons will have a good year? I do not.
Dude
Okay.
just signed with Ferrari. You ain't worried about basketball.
What is Ferrari thinking? I mean, like,
Yeah,
Looks good in front of the car.
what's your brand? You look good but suck. I mean, like, you look the part but you can't play.
I mean, he has like 10 Ferraris though. Like,
Yeah,
that's
well, I
the
mean,
only car he buys.
there's also word on him that he's going broke.
Well, maybe he should sell 1 or 2.
I saw where he took a huge loss on his house that he sold in Philadelphia.
They probably trashed it.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Right.
jeez.
Shit in his bed.
That's a fine, Stewie.
$2.
$2.
$8.15.
Okay.
No, wait. That doesn't matter because WAFB's the whole time.
I think that we said in the 7 o'clock hour fines double. I just made that up. I don't know if we did say that.
I don't
but
know, but we did talk about how that's the hour of carpool where people's kids are in the car, but right now in the summer they're not.
I kind of do feel like the suits tap out after 7 o'clock hour.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
But
So
you
8
know,
o'clock we can just go crazy.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you can go Eddie Murphy Raw during the 8 o'clock hour. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're trying to go like Andrew Dice Clay. But yeah, I feel like we got a little bit more liberty in the second hour.
More dicks in the
Yeah,
second hour
absolutely.
for sure.
You know,
Just throwing them around.
Fuck 'em.
I don't know how many times I've said dick in the past 2 days. It's been
Wow.
a lot.
Might go get a shot.
A lot.
The O shot. Speaking of the O shot, that is something that they offer down at Men's Total Health. Over at Men's Total Health down in New Orleans, get down there. They're on Veteran Memorial Avenue. You can get in touch with them today online at menstotalhealth.net. We have told you about Mike Roach. Mike Roach has been certified now to give the P shot
Certified in dick shot.
and the O shot. You may ask, what is this that you're talking about,
So
Jordy?
shot you speak of.
The P shot is for the males. The O shot is for the females. And don't let the Men's Total Health Clinic distract you, confuse you. They can help you if you're a female as well. So if you've got low T and if you've got problems with that as a male, obviously you can go in there. But if you've got some questions about your energy, about your sex drive, about your sleep, and you're a female, you can go in and see Mike Roach at Men's Total Health.
I'm going in to see Mike Roach today.
Katie is...
Check out the female product.
Katie is going in today. I came back last week and told the entire crew what Mike Roach was certified to now do, which is he can give a shot directly into the penis, and he can give a shot directly into the vagina.
I'm burning up. I'm like about
she's so
to start
nervous.
sweating.
on the base of the penis or the
Oh my God.
Look at
go
her. She's
inside
turning red.
of the
so uncomfortable.
vagina and give the O shot. Mike Roach is certified to do this. So if anybody is sitting around and you got no action down there, you got no feeling, you need a little rejuvenation, you're trying to wake up the cells, you're trying to wake up the walls, then you got to go see Mike Roach.
The vagina walls?
Yes. You got to go see Mike
Is that how
Roach.
he described it?
He did not. He did not. I'm going to get clearer verification on the verbiage that we need to be using during these reads. But the point is, if you need a vag shot or a dick shot to wake that up on your body,
Go get it.
Men's Total Health at Mike Roach is the one-stop shop for you on
But I
Veterans
don't
Memorial
think-
Avenue.
I think it also, and I'll find out today, I'll ask him, but I think also you don't have to be like in the depths of sexual despair. Like maybe this is just like an extra little.
Katie, see, this sounds more of like a sex thing.
No, it is
George
a
the
sex
Greek.
thing.
I bet his office smells.
It's
Right.
gross, George the Greek.
It's like,
No, it's a sex thing for sure. I'm just saying.
No,
it's
it is a
like,
sex thing.
It's like when people take Viagra and they don't really need it. It's just like for fun,
yeah,
right?
that would be like me.
It's just like
I don't know if it's
extra.
just for fun.
Well, I know people need
Like,
You
this.
don't take Viagra.
Yeah, right. I don't think that we're like thinking of what can we do to it today. I'm gonna get my dick shot up. What about you? You know what? I got a vag shot too.
Let's do it
Yeah, right.
together.
You want to carpool?
I just think it could be extra fun, right?
We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
TBD.
Find out for yourself. menstotalhealth.net. menstotalhealth.net. Can answer all your questions.
They're gonna be like, y'all, please stop trying to answer the questions.
No, just look. Go in there. And you ask Mike Roach the questions and tell
Yeah.
him that you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. That would help us out a ton.
It would.
So check them out. menstotalhealth.net.
And they got some other things coming up for women too that I'm gonna maybe be a guinea pig for.
Why not?
I'll let y'all know.
Why not? Expect a full report tomorrow.
I feel like the color's
from Katie.
coming back now.
FM OnlyFans coming to you
I'm
soon.
cooling down.
Look at me. Ooh. Still embarrassed?
Yeah.
Get her a fan over here.
I know the air just went off too at the same
All
time.
right, so we talked LSU football, College World Series last night. Oklahoma's got to be thinking, man, this could not have worked out any better for the Sooners. Last night, Ole Miss had their opportunities. Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 1 out, down by 2. Ole Miss was able to scratch across 1 run in that scenario to make the game 3-2. They also were able to. Arkansas then was able to close the game out.
God, I was nervous.
Man,
I stood in my
looked kind of like a
kitchen.
little Texas leaguer he had thrown out there to left field. I thought it was going to drop there for a minute, but it went right to the Arkansas outfielder to close the game out for the Hogs. This is a scary scenario.
It is
for
very
Bianco
scary.
in Ole Miss. Anytime you give anyone a 1-game opportunity to do anything, that is a scary scenario for anybody in sports because just anything can happen. Ole Miss felt like they were in the driver's seat yesterday morning. All of their arms were secured. All of their arms were on ice. All of their arms are ready for a 3-game championship series that they'll have to win. Now it became and becomes a 4-game championship series for both teams, Ole Miss and Arkansas, if they want to extend their life into the College World Series and have a chance to win a championship here. They're going to have to battle it out again today while Oklahoma sits and watches.
What about that catch, Arkansas's catch in the outfield in the 2? Did you just talk about that when they hit each other?
No. Well, that was the first out of the 9th inning.
Yes, it was. And he wrapped his arm around.
Yes.
I mean, they collided, and he wrapped his arm around the other guys and held on to the ball. Like, unwrapped his arm and still held on to the ball.
Knocked his shades off his head.
That was unbelievable.
And with the bases loaded, that could have been.
I was dying.
And for a team like Arkansas, who got knocked out of Omaha, a couple years ago on that foul ball, where they had the championship won. They had it won. I mean, that's got to be a moment that you.
What is it? Was it like 2 outs?
I think it was.
And the runner was on third?
Coach, it was worst case scenario. Like, it is something that you can't sleep from. Wake you up out of a dying sleep.
Wake up in a cold sweat.
Yeah, just I dreamed that we hit a foul ball and lost the championship. Like, nah, bro, that happened.
That happened, Coach.
That happened. Oh my God.
Well, anyway, I was very nervous watching that. I got home from Sophie's basketball game and stood at the kitchen counter. David was cooking, and I was so intensely involved in the game. Like, he's over there doing the dishes. I didn't even attempt to help because I thought if I moved, like I'd been standing there in this position the whole time doing this exact thing, and I didn't want to move.
You do when Ole Miss
weirdly
wins?
Superstitious.
What do you do when Ole Miss wins?
I get just angry.
So you'll just be mad?
Yeah.
Just go ring your cowbell.
Still.
I just be. What do you mean still?
I mean, like, still to this day, Ole Miss wins affect you where, like,
yeah.
Yeah, see.
Damn, bro.
I just don't think y'all
Y'all got it
understand
bad.
that rivalry. I mean, I guess if you lived
I mean,
in
I
Mississippi
understand
and
rivalries, though.
But it's
you know
like,
what I mean?
it's kind of like I lived in Jackson, Mississippi before I moved here. And, like, my office literally was half Ole Miss, half Mississippi State. That's how the city is. That's how the state is. Like, and you hate each other.
Weird vibes.
It's so awful. It's an in-state rivalry, and it's just different.
Did you ever date anybody from Ole Miss?
I did.
Okay.
I mean, I
So
went
I
to
put
Ole
no
Miss.
stock in this anymore.
I went to Ole Miss, and I went
out.
to parties
Yeah,
there.
right. So it really wasn't legit.
See, I'd never date a girl from Bama.
He's cute. He
It's
goes to
over.
Ole Miss.
I mean, but I knew people. I mean, I graduated people who ended up going there. I mean, I don't hate all the people there. That would be weird. I know a ton of people there.
Brad David, does David always do the cooking, Katie?
No, he doesn't. But last night, when
Does he
I
have a
got
go-to?
home, no, last night he made Philly cheesesteak hoagie things from Ingle Eats.
Okay.
But when I got home, he was cooking, and I'd also had him helping with a little bit of the laundry because I was
Wow.
going to a basketball game.
Domestic
and
Dave.
He was, and I told him, I was like, you're getting lucky tonight for show.
Okay.
Like, you're providing a meal and doing laundry.
The O-shot.
I don't even know what to say. Yeah, right?
Right.
He needs a shot.
Go get it. Check it
I
out.
mean, that's my porn right there.
Yeah, okay.
Come do my
That's your love
laundry.
language.
It is.
Laundry.
It is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Laundry in an apron.
But
David's cooking, folding clothes.
Him doing the laundry was him texting me while I was at the game. And I'm like, okay, the pile that I put in this area, I need you to put that in the washer and then remove the things from the dryer and do it. Yeah.
Low
I'm
instruction.
The
real-
controller, even
I'm
though I'm
very
trying to
OCD
help. You
about
know what?
laundry.
I'm out.
I'm OCD
I'm
about
out.
I'm not
laundry.
doing it
I'm
anymore.
out.
Well, I don't ask anyone
I was
to
just
help
trying
me
to
with
lend
it.
a hand.
I just needed a little help.
Yep,
yeah.
it was 2 outs, runner on third.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
Good.
that's right.
Lord.
And it was the top of the 9th. So the game would have been over up 3-2. Tough. Yeah, that's like throw up.
And then the
worthy.
next time you go back, your shortstop and your left fielder run into each other and the ball bounces on the turf and scores 2 for Ole Miss to lose. Could you imagine if that would have been the scenario last night? If I'm Van Horn, I just would have walked home.
Yeah, I'm going home. See y'all later.
So they lost, and we're all good.
Send Mincy a link. He's up in Omaha. He wants to talk.
Oh, goodness.
Mincy's been doing a lot of red face social media. He's been doing a lot of yelling,
He has been doing a lot
a
of
lot of
jumping
hotty
and
toddying.
yelling.
Hotty-toddy.
Wonder how they feel today, this morning. It's got to feel like a typical Ole Miss fan. We're this close. Are we going to be able to get past? Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by our friends over at GoFlow. Promo code over there is Jordy Culotta Show. If you mention it, you get 15% off over at GoFlow, GEAUX, Flow, IV.com. GoFlow IV is where you find them on Jefferson Highway, goflowiv.com. We come back. We'll talk to Ben Mintz. We'll go up to Omaha, get the latest. Frank Alessi coming through this morning. We're going to talk some F1.
8:45.
We will talk F1 with our guy, Frank Alessi, who's going to stop by here from the F1 Podium Proof podcast. Give us the latest on that circuit. Remember, if you missed today's show, it's always brought back to you by R&B Builders. Mike Denbrock was great. We also talked to Ed Sexton. Who's Ed Sexton? He's not a lawyer.
He is not a lawyer.
But he is a LSU fan that is up in Omaha, and that is him sitting behind home plate that's getting all the coverage in the straw hat and the purple LSU shirt. He and his two brothers are sitting right next to one another. His brother's been going to Omaha for a long time. He finally convinced him to make the trip. And Sexton's image and brand has blown up over the last 10 days as he has been front and center in Omaha behind home plate. He's flying out this morning, so he won't be at today's semifinal game or through the championship, but he explained what the last week has been like for he and his brothers. We come back, we'll talk to Ben Mintz. We'll go back to TD Ameritrade Park into Omaha and get the latest on Ole Miss and Arkansas, who square off today for a champs at the championship to make the championship game. When we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. All right, personal testimony from my trip over to Johnson and Spillers. Shout out to my friend Dr. Chad Spillers for taking care of me, man. I had to have my front tooth, a tooth implanted on my front tooth, and it was a hell of an ordeal, but Dr. Spillers and the crew from Johnson and Spillers made it as easy and seamless as possible to work with and have taken the final product, and it is absolutely beautiful. Learn more online at johnsonspillers.com. Whether you're looking for Botox or you need help in any type of dentistry, whether it is dentures, night guards, if you're looking for Invisalign, if you're interested in implant dentistry like I got, you can get in touch with Johnson Spillers. Online, johnsonspillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easiest way to get them, online at johnsonspillers.com. City Cafe online at citycafebr.net, where good friends meet. Great food and even better service. Located in the shopping center behind Rite Aid on the corner of George O'Neill and O'Neill Lane. They cater for parties, big and small. Sundays, they serve a fantastic brunch that starts at 10 a.m. They have daily lunch specials. And remember, you can look at everything online at citycafebr.net. We'll give a shout-out to Squeaky Miranda, Cody Miranda, Dirk and the crew, everybody over at City Cafe for their support here, the Jordy Culotta Show. Online, citycafebr.net. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show. We're going to talk F1 with our guy, Frank Alessi, coming up here in a couple of minutes. Get the latest from the F1 on the Podium podcast, or F1 Podium Proof podcast that you can catch each week. Remember Mark Freshart, Mark Verrett, our friend, that you can find on Instagram at Mark Freshart. Couple of new additions to the studio, including this Jarvis Landry right here over the right shoulder. Juice.
Sir, I mean, come on.
Visor is great, and you can't see it here, but like the bottom portion of it is like it's like juice. It's like he's splashing out.
Notice that.
Splashing out of some gold juice.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that part yet.
Yeah, juice.
Juice.
It's amazing. Like his mouth, you can see his teeth. Like it's so cool.
And the Camaro one, obviously, over Katie's shoulder.
Yeah.
And then. Tyron Matthew getting a little work done to him as we're putting these.
He's getting a BBL.
Yeah, he's in the training room.
Great ass. He doesn't need it.
No, he doesn't.
Stewie, by the way, your tight end poll question.
Oh yeah.
You're losing a little ground here.
No.
Where is he?
You didn't show it though, really.
53-47. Last I saw.
It's 56-44. 44, yes.
56-44.
But people didn't really get a good look at it. They're
I
just
agree,
blindly
Stewie.
voting.
I think you need to walk this catwalk here.
You should stand up.
Give me a little side profile.
And
If you could come side profile it right here.
Yeah, do it, Stewie.
Like in front of the two.
Yeah, just come stand right here. Just come stand right here,
Do
Stewie.
it.
Pick your shirt up. Not all the way.
Like, wait, take your shirt off. Take everything off.
Hang on. Watch out, Stewie.
Right,
You're blocking my view, bro.
You got to move.
I need
up.
a side
We need
profile,
the side.
Stewie. Not straight from the back. I need you to
come
side,
on.
like face Jamil.
Yeah, come
You know
on
what I mean?
out. Yeah,
There you
come
go.
on out.
There you go. Walk
Come
the
on.
catwalk.
Here we go.
Work
Here we
it.
go. All right, pull
All right,
the
pick
shirt
it up.
a little bit. There we
Pick
go.
it up. Pick
There
it
we
up.
go.
Pick it up. Turn.
A little more.
Turn.
A little
Turn.
more.
Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning. No tight end. Sit down. Sit down.
I don't know. I think he does.
No. Jamil, you want to re-vote here? Yeah, a little loose. What size is that, Stu? You XL or L?
This is an XL. Right?
Okay.
I like
So
it.
it's a little
This
big.
is an XL.
Yeah, you should have went double X there.
It's a good booty, Stewie.
Thank you. I appreciate
Is
it.
don't
that
have
a
to always be
swimsuit
nice.
Or
The best coaches are the honest coaches, Katie.
No,
I'm being
short.
honest. He has a booty. I mean, he clearly has a booty. It's not like it's a flat butt.
We're not debating on whether or not he's got an ass. We're debating on whether or not his
How
ass
great
is
the
good
ass
enough to
is.
play tight end at LSU.
Well, you got to cup that ass to feel that, I guess, to know
Yes.
that.
It
Have
needs
you
to
ever
be a
touched
C.
it?
It needs to be a capital C. You know, I mean, it needs to have the half moon to
Okay.
it,
All right.
right?
Yeah, I get you.
Football pants with no ass is unforgiving.
Oh, that's a move.
Yeah.
That's an unforgiving move.
Yeah.
To, I mean, you look at some of those linemen that trot out there
I
with just
hate
like
it.
straight from the shoulder blades to the ankles. You got no curve, bro. Like, bro, you might want to pack that thing.
The knees are
Yeah, like,
bro,
how did
come
you
on.
get this scholarship?
Pack that thing. Did people do that?
Who does your dad know?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Dude's knee pads are to
what
his
business
to his
is your
shins.
dad in? Who cut the check for this bum?
What about you? You got a tight end?
No,
No tight end?
no. But I'm not. I'm not looking for a spot.
You are.
Right.
He needs it. How much NIL you got for me, Coach?
Turn around. None.
Oh, you're being mean, Jordan.
No, I thought they was talking to me. Oh, sorry to me.
Oh,
Sorry,
look,
Stewie.
Mincy. We got Mincy
Oh, there he is.
in his hotel room.
All right, Mincy, let's go up to Omaha, Nebraska this morning.
A little frozen. I don't know if it's on it. I think it's on his end. Looks like he just is frozen
It's a
back
little
there.
frozen.
Black Goatee says, what the fuck did I just walk into, Jordy?
Black goatee. That's
Stewie was saying that he could play tight end at LSU when Denbrock was here. I said he had to have at least a good ass to get to that spot. So we were debating on whether or not Stewie had the ass to play tight end for LSU. I vote no. Katie says yes. Jamil seems like she's on the fence.
I guess that's a weird
She was a
thing
hard
to
yes
walk in
early.
on.
Then she saw Stewie walk the catwalk and said his shorts were a little too loose.
Yeah, they're a little loose.
Yeah,
The
this
shorts.
is just loose shorts.
Okay.
These aren't my ass shorts, all right?
Okay.
These
Come
aren't
with
the
your
shorts
football
that-
pants on tomorrow, Stewie.
Don't
Give us a
make
true
me.
evaluation. All right, Mincy, how we feeling? Mincy looks frozen.
She's like, I don't know. What's
Mincy, can you hear us?
Mincy?
It's trying.
Yeah, I think he has some little bit of shady Wi-Fi in him.
Yeah, probably.
Mike Menville, fine Jordy, second hour. I'll pay the fine. $2.
What'd you say?
I said F.
Oh, God, I don't even notice it really anymore.
Mike says $25.
Wow.
I think we said 20 for.
Yeah, but I thought we came off those numbers.
Yeah, 20 is a bit much.
20 steep.
Yeah, that's steep for real.
I think 20 was like the P word and some others maybe.
Pushing P, huh?
Yeah. We can't
Pussycat?
put P around here. Yeah, that one. Oh God, it makes me so nervous. Right when it starts to come out of your mouth.
Just a little, just a little pussy.
Right. All right, Mincy, how we doing up there?
It's
Mincy,
a scary
is Mincy
stare
still
because
frozen?
it's frozen.
He's like frozen.
Like he's
Jeez.
watching over
He
us.
went to the back of the room.
in an
Mince
angry
looks like
way.
every Ole Miss fan in the world right now, just kind of
Can you
shocked.
put the camera up there, please?
Oh no,
It's
oh, no.
working.
And he's texting.
Maybe we just call then.
Spotty Wi-Fi. I'm going outside. Give me 3 minutes.
That's what he said. I like.
Oh, oh, oh,
Oh,
oh,
wait, no, there you are.
Mincy, you got us?
He's trying.
Oh no.
Can't hear him.
Oh no.
Mince. Oh, hold up. What up?
Hang on, Mincy. It's on our end. It's on our end. It's on our end. Stay
Come
right
back.
there. Stay
Come
right
back.
there. Stay right there.
Mincy,
No,
come back.
don't do it, Mincy.
Don't leave.
Don't leave.
No.
Hey, we saved him. Mincy,
Come
can you hear
back.
us?
No, I'm here.
Yes!
I'm here.
Mincy, I saw
can
you
you hear
singing
me
a
now?
lot of hottie toddy over the last 48 hours, buddy. How are we feeling this morning? I thought y'all were going to pull it off in the ninth.
Man, that ninth inning, I was pretty shook in that post-game video. Dave was saying, oh, Mincy doesn't look confident. Well, I was shook as hell after that ninth inning. We had bases loaded, nobody out, and got to get 2 in and couldn't do it. And really, just Ole Miss struggled a lot with the left-handed pitching. Yeah. I thought yesterday our left-handed hitters had some issues. Luckily today, Connor Nolan, Arkansas ace pitching, but at least he's right-handed, so that makes me feel good. Look, the way that ended yesterday, obviously not the best for carryover. I got an issue. I'm going to bitch about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why the hell are we playing it? Why the hell is Ole Miss playing at 3 o'clock today in the heat? Why is this game not tonight? Who's making these decisions? Is this even real? Doesn't make any sense.
Would this be on ESPN, right? This is all, it would fall on the TV people, right?
I guess
how
so.
is this
but
game
like,
not
we're
prime
like
time?
about to say all the games tomorrow night. Oh, by the way, the game's at 3 o'clock tomorrow when it's 140 degrees outside. But regardless, last night was a brutally tough ending. However, this team is led by Tim Elko and Graham and Justin Bench, your senior leaders. Dylan DeLuce is pitching today for Ole Miss. He's been spectacular down the stretch. He mowed Auburn, Arizona, and Southern Miss down. He's pitched 3 awesome games in the tournament. I still believe the Rebels are a slight underdog today. Man, it's just crazy, though, Jordy, because, look, LSU fans, y'all have won 6 baseball national championships. Ole Miss never won one. To be this close, I mean, the pressure and everything that goes with this is just, it's mind-numbing. But I'm excited. Pumped to be in the moment. I think the team, will be ready. And, man, I'm anxious as hell. Let's just call it what it is.
Mincy, real quick, take me to the other side in Arkansas. I felt like you guys had a true advantage, obviously, because of the arms that they had to burn through to get here. Where are they at from a pitching standpoint today? How confident are they going into today's game? Aren't they going on short rest?
So both Ole Miss and Arkansas are throwing their aces that pitched on Saturday on 4 days rest. So Arkansas is going with Connor Noland. He pitched a great game against Stanford. He pitched a great game against North Carolina in the Super Regionals. They're out of left-handed bullpen. They burned all their left-handed bullpen arms. They're literally out. So there's no way. At least that's good for Ole Miss because we've been struggling with the lefties. But really, it comes down to ace versus ace. I think Ole Miss does have more bullpen depth. Ole Miss's closer, Brandon Johnson, hadn't pitched a ton, and Josh Mallett's our top middle relievers there. So I think Ole Miss has a little more bullpen depth. Both teams throwing their aces. Truthfully, through the years, Arkansas probably has a little more big game experience with dealing with this moment. Yeah. I think that's fair to say. But I still feel good about Ole Miss. I really do. I don't think, it's a tough, fast turnaround with that happening last night and playing a day game emotionally. But that's what you get these seniors for. And, oh, man, deep breath. Look, like I said, I reiterate this. I say this all the time. I come on with all y'all LSU fans. LSU's won 6 baseball and 3 football national titles in my lifetime. I mean, that's insane. The Revs never won one, and so can you just imagine put yourself in that perspective as a fan, being that tortured, and especially when you look at this 22-year Mike Bianco era. This is only the second time they've made Omaha, lost in 6 super regionals. I mean, this is. It's a lot to handle.
Vince, I know exactly how you feel, and when you finally win it, like I did last year, it's just the best feeling in the world.
Yes, Mincy, and she has been victory lapping since yesterday, since Ole Miss lost. How much better would it feel that you could water down Mississippi State's national championship in just 1 year after they won if Ole Miss was able to pull this off?
Oh, I just think it would be an unbelievable story if State and Ole Miss won back to back. I just think that would be incredible. And I'm sure y'all saw that video. I'm definitely I don't know if I'm quite at war, but there's definitely a big battle going on with me and the Arkansas fans. Yeah. If y'all saw that video,
well, Mitzi, when you call them just straight up trash, they're gonna react.
I mean, dude, look. Have y'all seen how they act? Do y'all have to deal with them on social media?
No,
look, they're on social media. There ain't no one worse than the Arkansas Razorbacks. They've had 30 of them ganging up on every tweet I've made since they knew they were going to play us. Dude, they're unreal. And I mean, I definitely was in the heat of the moment feeling myself, but it is what it is,
Mitzi, a lot of Ole Miss faithful there. It looks like the crowd has been well supported by Ole Miss.
The first game with Arkansas was about 50-50, maybe 55-45 Arkansas. And so I figured that's what last night would be, Jordy. Last night was 75-25 Ole Miss.
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy how big of a home game that was for Ole Miss. I was shocked because Fayetteville's 5.5 hours from here. But last night there were pockets of Arkansas fans, but you didn't hear any of the Pig Suey stuff. I've been calling that the mating call thing, and they're really, really, their fans are really, really pissed at me. But no, it was the Ole Miss fans. Dude, look, say what you want about Ole Miss's fan base. I mean, Ole Miss pulls over 10,000 for a lot of SEC games, man. Through the years, football's been up and down. I mean, the baseball's been driving the engine for the most consistent sport for 20 years. I mean, our fans, obviously Mississippi State. Fanatical fan base, and I'm not saying State has bigger attendance than Ole Miss. I'm not arguing that, but Ole Miss fans freaking love college baseball too, and the turnout's shown it. I was actually on the row on the 30th row last night. The guy on my right started every single Ole Miss chant the entire game. I've never seen a fan performance like it. It was unbelievable. I don't know how this guy has a voice. I feel like I'm a pretty rowdy guy if I respect someone that much that's saying something.
Mitzi, you are obviously you're an Ole Miss fanatic, but you are a gambler as well. Take your heart out of this one. Arkansas is favored by a 1.5 tonight. How do you like this one?
Oh, I mean, taking my heart out of it. I've been taking the underdogs the whole NCAA tournament and getting the money. I've had a great tournament. I would like Ole Miss with the plus money here with Dylan DeLucia pitching, taking my heart out of it. I mean, my strategy's been, Jordy, this whole tournament, when in doubt, I'm just taking the plus signs. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen in college baseball. So when in doubt, take the plus money and take the equity. Taking my heart out of it, that's my thought.
Mitzi,
and I'll say this.
Go ahead.
I did not have Ole Miss last night at minus 121. I knew Arkansas was not going to go down without a fight. I did not take Ole Miss last night. I did take the over, and it was pretty much dead immediately. and had no chance. But I knew not to take Ole Miss now.
How about with
I
good?
do like us today.
How about with good pitching on both sides this afternoon, and the over/under being at 10? How do you feel like the run total will add up this afternoon?
Man, I couldn't have been more wrong about the over-unders.
Sure.
I took under 10.5 in the first Ole Miss-Arkansas game, and it was 13-5. And I took over 12.5 last night, and it was 3-2. So I don't have a damn clue about the over-under. I'm taking the Rebs plus money. That's what I got.
Ben Mintz, take me to the other side of the bracket. What have your thoughts been of Oklahoma?
Man, I'm actually not shocked because they ran through the Big 12 tournament, and they were really hot coming in. You look at their team, man, they're just such a complete team. Jake Bennett, that lefty ace, is really good. Cade Horton stepped into their number 2, man. I thought his stuff, he was throwing mid-90s, that slaughter against Notre Dame, wiped them out. Their number 3 starter, Sandlin, pitched a spectacular game against A&M yesterday. I mean, they got to be feeling good with their starting pitching. They got a great closer, Michael. And then that shortstop for Oklahoma, Jordy, I don't know if you've had a chance to see Peyton Graham play. He's like 6'4", so he's like tall like Cal Ripken. He may be the best player in the tournament. They're on fire. I mean, they're a complete team. They're no joke at all. I mean, they were 2 seed, but when they won the Big 12 tournament, they had that momentum. They won on the road in Gainesville. They won on the road in Blacksburg. I mean, they're no joke. Like I said, they got 3 good starting pitchers, a great closer, and they got a lineup that's mashing. So, no fluke there. Whoever wins Ole Miss or Arkansas is going to have a tough matchup in the title game.
Mincy, could Barstool Sports ever receive a greater piece of free promotion than Roger Goodell lying to Congress under oath?
Oh, that was unbelievable. I mean, how could he that's just unreal to me. I love that people, do you see the backlash he's getting from it?
Mintz, I'm telling you, the amount of promotion that Barstool got off of that is it's millions and millions of dollars. Look at social media. He's getting run over.
I love it. No one deserves it more. I mean, Saints fans, we all know how big of a joke he is. And, everybody knows it. And I don't know. He's just so tone deaf. And, you can tell he's just not like a football player that,
right.
Not that I am either. But it's like he's so tone deaf toward the actual sport. It's ridiculous that he has the power that he does. And I love seeing all the backlash he's getting. I mean, Dave Portnoy, Dave's just been loving it too. I'm sure y'all have seen Dave. He's been going nuts.
The press release that he put out last night was, I don't know how you could have played it any better than what Portnoy is doing. With Team
Portnoy stuff is hilarious. We did some of that Team Portnoy stuff with the Hogs for the Cause. We did Team Portnoy, but that's Tommy Smokes on Twitter at Tom Scabelli. He's one of the funniest people at Barstool. He does all those, and he's hilarious. Love him.
Mincy, enjoy Omaha today. What's been some of the great food? You want these steaks, these Omaha steaks? What do you?
Yeah, I've eaten real. Shockingly, I've eaten real well. I went to Mahogany's, had a real good steak. Went to Block 16, had a really good brunch burger. Well, I actually went to a really good seafood place. I'm going there at lunch today called Plank. Hard to believe, good seafood in Omaha, but it's actually really, really good. And I was shocked as anyone, being having the Gulf Coast blood. But yeah, food's been great. Ole Miss fans have been, I know how LSU fans are and take over Omaha. Oh, I went and checked out the LSU bar, Jordy. Barrett's Barleycorn. Yes. It's the famous LSU bar.
Instagram. Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, I wanted. They were, man. The owners, the Barretts, were just great people. It's kind of a bummer that it's not closer to downtown, but it was such a really cool place. Ole Miss fans are literally everywhere. It's been a spectacular experience, and just this game today just means so much. I'm trying to y'all know how I am. I try to train my brain to somehow look for the good in everything, even when it's not. It's like a trick. But I'm not ready to spin this Ole Miss thing after winning game 1 and losing the last 2. I'm not ready to mentally have to put the spin on it that I'm happy just that we made Omaha and saw us win. I'm not in that state. We're this close. I've waited freaking 20 years to see this. What an opportunity today. I do love Dylan DeLucia pitching, though. I have a lot of faith in him.
Hotty toddy, Mincy. Have a great day, bro.
Sure. Yeah, man. Thank you. Come on, man. And y'all keep an eye on me I got some stuff up my sleeve the next 48 hours, too. Y'all keep an eye on it.
Hell yeah,
that's all I'm going to say.
Fuck with those hogs, bro. Hey. Mating call fucks. All right, later, buddy. Right. All right, man. Somebody's knocking on the door.
I feel personally attacked that
Why?
you just said hotty toddy.
I rang the cowbell.
Personally attacked.
I mean, come on.
You should hate
He's
Ole
a
Miss
friend
too.
of ours.
You should hate Ole Miss too.
Not really.
That hate, yes. LSU and Ole
Katie.
Miss have had a huge rivalry for years.
But they
Katie,
can't compete with us.
I don't have enough energy to
No,
hate.
they can't. You're right.
Like, you really hate Ole Miss?
Yes.
Yes.
Like, you
Why
like-
do you even ask? How do you
like,
ask
have
it?
the energy to really hate? You know
Yes.
what I mean? Like, so you hate Ben Mintz?
No, I don't hate Ben Mintz. We just had this conversation. I don't hate the people at Ole Miss. I don't hate everyone there. I hate their fan base. I hate them as my mentality is I hate them. I'm from Mississippi. It's an in-state rivalry. You don't get it unless you live in an in-state rivalry. You have one SEC school in this state. You'll never understand that hate. But you should have it for Bama.
LSU
people
Tulane.
here hate Bama like that. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a rivalry. That's what I try to tell people around here. I mean, it's not a rivalry. I mean, a rivalry is like they win one, you win one.
Yeah.
They win one, you win
It
one.
used to be a rivalry.
Yeah, right. I mean, like they mop the floor with you. I mean,
Yeah.
the rivalry has been like Auburn. You know,
Right.
like the rivalry has been, Ole Miss. You know, what I mean, like it just.
there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, like I'm not in it enough to hate.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
If you were in my position, you would.
Okay.
You got to be from a state with an in-state rivalry.
Okay.
Get Frank in here, unless I'm hot and bothered now with this old damn Ole Miss talk.
Build a wall, for God's sakes.
Getting that wall right.
How
Come
does
on,
this-
Frank.
How does this make you feel, Katie?
That's
one
so
second, one second,
disgusting.
Frank. One second,
Like
Frank.
that's
One
so
second, Frank.
stupid.
1 second, Frank.
Why?
What do you mean? Why? That's trash.
thought it was
Did that get
trash.
Ole Miss's coach fired? Or did that get Mississippi State's coach
Got
fired?
Why
Ole
would it get
Miss's-
Mississippi
he got
State's
Ole
coach
Miss's
fired?
Was that Matt? I think it was
It was
Matt Luke.
Matt Luke.
Yeah.
Why
Because
would
the
it get our
kicker
coach
missed
fired?
the extra point after this.
Right.
Got backed up.
Ridiculous.
I
All
thought
right,
it was
move
really
on,
funny.
please, for the love of God. Hey, Frank.
Remember, daily, we are brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete, CajunRMC.com. Get in touch with our friends over there if you're looking for any project, no matter the size, residential, municipal. Get in touch with Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. Online, CajunRMC.com. CajunRMC.com. Closing out this Thursday, talking some F1 next with Frank Alessi, who is our guy each week talking about F1 from F1's Podium Proof podcast. He'll be with us next year on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Shout out to Tom Granning from everybody over here at FM Digital Media, as he is our fuel sponsor. Whether it's fuel cards or snacks, he's keeping us going every day at FM Digital Media. If you're out on Highway 61, make sure and stop in and see him over at Go Mart. It is located in Natchez, Mississippi. It is our favorite convenience store, and it's for our guy Tom Granning, who supports us every day over here at FM Digital Media. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Morales Roll-Offs. Morales Roll-Offs provides dumpster rentals for residential and commercial needs in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas. Morales has roll-off dumpsters ranging from 10 yards to 40 yards to accommodate all of your disposal needs. Search online MoralesRolloffs.com.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at MoralesRolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Inspiration, man.
Appreciate
I cannot wait to watch your group play. And the reason we said this to the public, we wanted to get you on, is because everybody that's come through here, recruit, player in the locker room, coaches, have mentioned your name of making an impact on their time or their decision to be at LSU. So keep doing it right, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Like I said, you give our guys a platform. They come in talking about the show, so
yeah.
This is awesome. Nice setup too. I might steal one of these couches.
Yeah, you got it, bro. You got it. We got a lot of gear for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
LSU cornerbacks coach Robert Steeple's in with us for that was great conversation, man.
Appreciate it.
I cannot wait to watch. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. This stuff with the Goodell is it's a fascinating topic once you dive into it. If you missed some of this, Goodell yesterday was up on Capitol Hill. He was up in Congress as he was testifying in front of Congress. I don't even know, on the Daniel Snyder situation, the Daniel Snyder and the Washington Commanders, and they were asking about some stuff that was happening there. And Representative Jim Jordan, who is from Wisconsin, I believe, asked Goodell, Commissioner, you believe in the First Amendment, right? Don't you? Goodell said, I do. He said, then why do you ban Dave Portnoy from NFL games? He's a journalist. In fact, he's a sports journalist. Why is he banned? And Goodell acted as if he had no idea what Jordan was talking about. And if you know the story, Goodell has removed Portnoy from the NFL offices after he was picketing outside after the Brady suspension was announced. He bid on a opportunity to watch the draft at Goodell's house that the NFL pulled the promotion on, and then they threw him out of the Super Bowl. Like, they physically removed him from the Super Bowl after he snuck in on the premises. So there's a lot of stuff happening with Goodell right now as far as, you know, people coming down on him. Did he lie under oath? What's going on? But this is Goodell's job. You know, like, I don't know who you could put in this position that would ever really be truly effective at it. I know that, you know, I know that Pete Rozelle is widely respected for what he did to the NFL, but it's a much different league now than it was then. I mean, at that time, Rozelle was kind of making things happen, signing TV contracts and creating franchises in different parts of the country. I mean, at the time, it was a very developing and budding business. Now the NFL is one of the largest, companies in the world. And the way that it is digested and watched is crazy. I mean, they made $18 billion last season. NFL football did, and somebody has to literally be the shield to protect the shield. And Roger Goodell's job, that's how you describe it. I mean, he's not the boss of the NFL. He's not the president of the league. Some people may look at the commissioner and say, "Oh, he runs the league." He doesn't run the league. The owners run the league. He's just the face of that ownership group that they put in public. The reason why he was on Capitol Hill is because Daniel Snyder didn't want to be there from Washington. Mm-hmm. The rich guy who has, never suffered any consequences in his life. He's never played by any rules. He's been given everything that's happened to him. And he doesn't want to go sit there and answer questions from, politicians on how he runs his business. Roger, you go answer those questions. We pay you $40 million a year, give you access to the NFL jet 365 days. This is the stuff that you got to go do. So I don't know who could take that position and really be likable. Really, I think it's a pretty unlikable position just because of the stance that you have to take. You're taken up and you're battling for 32 old white billionaires. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to find a lot of sympathy for that position or that role.
That's a tough seat.
But, to make you be okay with it, here's $40 million in salary. Here's a lifetime access to, NFL private air, access to country clubs and memberships all over the country, and you get to hang out with 32 of the richest people in America, and they'll probably pull a couple of strings for you. So I mean, the perks are great to be the NFL commissioner, but you also have to have days like yesterday, where you go sit up in front of Congress and they got 3 hours to just play piñata with you and just beat you up, and you got to answer the questions. It was just kind of crazy to see that Portnoy's name making making the floor.
That was
what I mean? Like being asked directly about Dave Portnoy at Barstool by a sitting politician on the floor with Roger Goodell. All right, let's get to our guy, Frank Alessi, who is from the F1 circuit, who we talk to each week here. He's from the Podium Proof podcast that we've been talking to for the last month. He and his brother do bang-up work, man. They love the sport. It is a fast and growing sport. I find more and more the people that are talking about sports are starting to include this topic when talking about what's going on in our sporting world. And right now, F1 is on fire.
And you got that Instagram.
Frankie, what's happening, buddy?
Got it going, finally.
Got it going.
Social media is up and moving. Where can they find you?
We're at Podium Proof F1 across all the platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Same all across.
And pretty soon here, we're about to go start going live on YouTube.
Yeah. So the Silverstone recap will be our first YouTube live. So that'll be not this coming Monday, but the following. I don't have the date on it.
What's Silverstone? Where's that?
That's UK.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one of the original 4 tracks on the F1 circuit. It's a really cool circuit, classic F1. Very fast, not a lot of long straights. It's fast in a different way. Like a lot of the stuff we've been seeing lately, you got some of the slower corners and then these, 1.5 mile long straightaways where they're hitting, 215 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. Silverstone is a track where you got a lot of high-speed corners. You're taking turns at 150, 160 miles an hour.
God, I cannot imagine. What a rush.
It's unbelievable. It's one of the, in my opinion, one of the all-time great tracks. Mm-hmm. It's just, you don't see them made that way anymore. Just the way it flows, the way almost the whole track is raceable in terms of being able to overtake, which granted, it's a little different now because the cars are so big. That dials that back a little bit, but I mean, it's an incredible one to watch.
Yeah.
So tell me to recap last weekend. What was last weekend like in the sport?
So we had Canada last week. Max won again, putting a good little distance in between himself and his teammate now because he DNF'd. But Carlos Sainz with Ferrari had a stellar weekend. And the end of the last stint after the last safety car where they both pitted, it was a all-out dash to the checkered flag. And Sainz was within a second of him the whole way. Had a couple times where it looked like he was going to get him and just couldn't get it done. But, I mean, Max he didn't put a wheel wrong the whole race. I mean, he drove a flawless race, you know. But Sainz, in my opinion, he needed that. That was the first time this year that we've seen him kind of elevate and be able to keep up and push Max. So him getting there bodes really well for Ferrari going forward from a team perspective, because before it had just been Leclerc that could kind of hold that pace. Now, if you got both drivers that can do it, it's it should be good. Should make for a very interesting back 2/3 of the season.
Yeah.
Red Bull is the gap is widening for Red Bull versus the competition here. They kind of feel like Alabama football compared to everybody else. What's going on?
So man, it's really strange because if you look at it, Ferrari they're improving their car. Their car is getting better and faster, except they ran into this string of, whether it's luck or by design, whatever. They hadn't been finishing. They've been having reliability issues. So that's essentially just allowed Red Bull to go unchallenged over a good streak of races and to, just extend this lead in the championship. Like I said, if Ferrari can get on top of their reliability, their car looks to be as fast, if not faster, than the Red Bull. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter, it's nice to be first, but first you must finish. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, I mean, and that's really the thing, too, that kind of killed Ferrari is Red Bull had reliability issues in the first 3-4 races of the season, but those were tracks that Ferrari was going to win those races. When on the flip side, so, Red Bull doesn't finish, they're not giving up 25 points in a win on a race. On the flip side, when Ferrari wasn't finishing, they were retiring from the lead. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're still getting 0 points, but it just has a different feel in terms of morale around the team, where you're throwing away wins and Red Bull's just sitting there being able to coast it in and scoop up all the points.
Mm-hmm. What's coming up this weekend?
So nothing this weekend. This is an off weekend. They travel back to Europe. And like I said, we'll be at Silverstone next week. And it's gonna be a big one. That track should suit Ferrari well. Kind of a lot of what we saw a few weeks ago in Barcelona. A lot of the same style of corners, the higher speed stuff, not long straights. So it should be an exciting race, man. Silverstone's always good. Last year, that's where they had probably the most controversial, or I guess depending on what side you're on, last year, Red Bull or Mercedes, one of the most controversial events where Hamilton stuck his nose in behind Max and they hit in a corner doing about 160, 170 miles an hour. Sheesh. And hit the wall doing not much less than that. And it was about a 55 G impact. So
that's insane.
Yeah, it was an intense wreck.
Yeah.
Bro.
And that's kind of where
55 G's.
Yeah, that's kind of where the real bad blood came to light between Red Bull and Mercedes last year, and it's still continuing now. I mean, their team principals are still steady taking shots at each other, and they're not even really racing each other on track this year.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I love to see it. It's good.
Okay, so from a production standpoint, one more time, tell them what's going on. We're going live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube after Silverstone, so that'll be 2 Mondays from now. Mm-hmm. All social media, Podium Proof F1. You can email us, podiumproof1@outlook.com, if anybody has anything they want to get in touch with us about.
Awesome.
All the social media should have direct messaging as well
Yes,
to get
yes.
in touch with you. So yes, just follow them on social media. F1 Podium Proof Podcast. Just search it on your social media: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all social media platforms. Find them, and as always, every Thursday you can check Frank and David out here breaking down the latest on the F1 podcast that you can catch wherever you get your podcast from, anywhere that you download podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, anywhere that you can find podcasts. Check out F1 Podium Proof Podcast and get the review every week here Thursdays from our guy Frank Alessi, who is a co-host alongside his brother. Great to see you, brother.
You too, man.
Are you going to put your bats out there on the
What's
races?
that?
Are you going to put your bats out there on the races? Do you
So
put that out there for people to see?
They don't. I was actually looking at Caesars last night. Nothing's up in terms of being able to bet on Silverstone yet, just because it's not this weekend, I guess. But you can still get on some future bets in terms of like the championship and all that. I kind of like Leclerc in terms of that bet. He's at a plus 600 right now, and like I said, I mean he's got the car to do it speed wise. So. You know, it's not a bad option there. I mean, Max is right now with the lead they got him at minus 600. You know, so I mean, it's to me, I'm not going to even bet that.
Yeah.
But I'd love to take my chances on Leclerc just because he's got the talent, he's got the car. If they can get on top of these reliability issues, that one looks pretty good to me at plus 600.
Yeah.
And if you got some long shots, they got some good odds on those too.
Really. Some
nice.
Some high odds to win big money. Yeah, get some good return on high risk, high reward. Low risk, high reward.
Right.
All right, Frank Alessi from the Podium Proof F1 podcast. Find him on social media every Thursday right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We are going to build walls today. We'll have a wall report for you tomorrow here on the show. Stewie, 58-42 final on the polls. Does Stewie have a tight end? 57% of the field said no, compared to 43% saying yes. It seemed like it took a big turn after you modeled for us, after you walked the catwalk.
I'll live.
It's because
After
your
you
shorts
walk
are
the
baggy.
catwalk. I would come with the football pants tomorrow,
Yeah.
Stu, if you want a little web redemption. Little web redemption
Yeah.
for Stu if you want to just go straight tights. Give us that side look and that look from the back. Maybe we can jump that number.
Don't make me do it.
Okay. Contemplating it. Thinking about it.
Thinking about it.
A couple of squats this afternoon. Maybe some squats when you wake up in the morning. Get that curve just right. See if we can't play a couple of downs
He's
at tight end.
stuff it. He's gonna.
We'll
stuff
call Coach Denbrock.
Nope. I'm gonna wear a regular football pants.
Yeah.
All right.
Just the football pants.
All right.
Okay.
Here he comes. All right. Have a great day. Like, share, comment. Go Chevrolet every single day. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. here on the Jordy Culotta Show.